Welcome to Excel Learn. Today we'll see how to create a pivot table with a dynamic data source. The idea is to retain the same pivot table and not reselect the data source as and when you add new rows to the data or a new column to a data. We'll quickly jump onto the sample data that I have taken here. This is a credit card customer sample data that we have. So before creating this pivot table, we'll have to create a name range. We'll name this data range using a offset function and a name manager. So for that, first you need to go to the formulas menu here on the top and click on name manager. And we'll create a new defined name here. You can key in whatever name that you want to use. I'll just use a name called data. And down here, we'll key in the formula offset. We'll have take five parameters into it. The first one will be the initial reference cell. So for that, we'll use the cell number A1. And the distance to the data set from this cell. So as we have selected the first cell of the data itself, the distance to the data will be 0 in terms of rows and 0 in terms of columns as well. So the next two parameters will be 0, 0. And the remaining two parameters will be the count of number of rows in your data set and the count of number of columns that you have in your data set. So to key in the count of number of rows, we'll use the formula count A and select the whole of column A. And for the rows, again, count A and the whole of column 1, the row 1. So this is all the five parameters that goes into your offset function. Once you are done, you can click on OK here. And if you just click on this formula here, you'll get to see what's the data that's been selected. So you can click on close. Now you can actually go ahead and create your dynamic pivot table. We'll go to insert, click on pivot table. So by default, the data source gets selected. So instead of the static data selection, we'll clear this off and use the dynamic data range name that you have just created. I'll type the data name range the name that I gave earlier, data, and click on OK. So we'll quickly create a sample pivot table here based on the education level, and we'll do a count of number of customers. So we have 35 set of data here, so that we can clearly see here we have the 35 set of data customers based on their education level. So now going forward, in case you are adding more data on top of your existing data, I'll just add a few more sample data on top of this here. So in the normal scenario, if you had selected a static data range to create a pivot table, you would have to go back to pivot table analysis, change data source, and reselect the newly added rows as well. However, since we have used the name range here, you can just right click on the pivot table and click on refresh. Now you see here it has automatically considered all the new rows of data added. Just to see how it looks, you can actually go to the data source and see that all the new data rows added has been automatically selected by the name range data. So this is how you can easily create a dynamic data source for your pivot table. Hope you like the videos. Please do comment and share, and also have any inputs, please do leave a comment. Thank you very much.